All right, we're in 2025 already, and I am excited to get my year planned out, look back on 2024. It's always a good idea to look back at the previous year, figure out what worked, what didn't work so we can avoid it. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about now. I'm going to share with you what worked with me, what got my success going in 2024, and then how am I going to change that a little bit, and give you the steps, what my calendar looks like, how I schedule my time so that I have freedom with my family and things of that nature. So this is all about preparing for success, looking into the new year, setting my goals, and I hope this really blesses you. All right, so the first thing, let's talk about the successful things that I did well in 2024. So in 2024, I really was focused. This is my 2024 was my fourth year as an agency owner, right? In some facet or form, right? So in 2024, it was my fourth year going in. So I had previously had plenty of screw ups that I want to help you to avoid. And so I'm actually quite proud of myself looking at 2024, because one of my biggest consistent oopses or mess ups or whatever you may want to call them that followed me all the way up to 2024 was the ability to shiny object syndrome. You familiar with that? Like when you see something shiny, you're like, oh, I need to go try that. That looks profitable. Oh, another shiny thing happened over here. I want to go try and do that too. Or instead of, and suddenly I'm shifting and all the energy I spent over here goes to nothing. And I just went bouncing back and forth. So 2024 came and I was like, well, that's the thing that really kept me from succeeding. And so I set myself a goal in 2024 to stay hyper focused. And I got to tell you, that was so hard, but hyper focused. I knew the three things that I needed to do to consistently produce and close sales. And so I hyper focused on what I knew worked, and I didn't allow myself to be distracted. And I got to tell you, that was so hard, because even the owner of Boomerang Me would, call me up or, DM me and be like, hey, I got this awesome opportunity. Do you want to be part of this? And it would be something new. And many times it was so tempting to be like, yeah, Mike, I totally want to. Let's do it. Let's dive all in. But instead, because I made that goal with myself, I looked at him, I was like, dude, that sounds amazing, but I've got to stay hyper focused this year on what I know will consistently close me sales, and I can meet my goals for this year. And I kudos to Mike, because he didn't give me a hard time about that. He was just like, man, I respect that. Let me know if there's anything I can do for you. And so that is the one thing that I am very proud of myself for doing. And now I have that as an experience that I can use in my back pocket and be like, all right, I'm going to apply that same goal. I now have this new strength, right? I don't have to be distracted by everything else. I now have this new strength, and I can apply that success to 2025. So I'm going to be using what I know consistently works, because now I've focused 12 whole months on practicing what I know works and getting myself in a nice, good pattern going on. And I'm going to share that pattern with you and what that consists of here in a moment. So going into 2025, now that I have this consistent pattern, now I'm going to add one more thing on top of it and stay to those two things. So I'm going to continue doing what I know works, but I'm going to add on something new now, because I have this consistent schedule of knowing what works. I can adjust and just kind of block off some time for this new task as well. So it's not instead of, it's an addition to. So keep doing what I'm consistently doing and add something to it now that I have a consistent success. Okay. So we're going to talk about that. How am I going to block that off of my time and all of those fun things? So every year I love to create myself a little reminder about what is most important to me. And as we just discussed, there's going to be some little changes in there. Okay. So I love to concentrate on what's called the big rocks. Okay. So I'm not sure if you are familiar with this concept of the big rock theory about, putting a whole bunch of rocks into a jar and how much can fit into it in your time and things of that nature. I will put a link somewhere up here so that you can go research it. It's very powerful. It's a great motivator for you to focus on what's most important for your business. And so through this, mental process of thinking about what is most important, what's going to move your business forward the most, it teaches you to focus on the big rocks, the big items that actually produce sales, and not to get so distracted by the little items of your day-to-day tasks that can really distract you and not move your business forward. So I like to identify, what are my big rocks? What are the first 4 things I need to prioritize each and every single week so that I know my business and agency will grow? So I like to put a little whiteboard next to my desk where I can identify those, and it just stays hung next to my desk all year long. But when I sit down, if I'm like, oh, I'm just not in the mood today, I will turn and look. It's over here on my left. I will turn and look and be reminded of my big rocks. And I will literally tell myself out loud many times, just do your big rock today then. Just do your big rock. What is the one thing that will move your business forward? Get it done. And then, if it's just one of those days, get up and walk away. So those are the things I really want to focus on and share with you. What are my big rocks? What are the big things that I know if I prioritize these 4 things are actually going to move my business forward? So moving into 2024, it's going to be a little bit different. And I'm going to show you my little whiteboard as I'm talking to you. But here I'm just outlining what my big rocks are. So I'm going to kind of bring you through those. I'm going to glance to my left occasionally so I can be reminded, what my big rocks are for 2025. So number one priority on my big rocks is customers first, right? I want to keep my customers. I don't want to lose all of that hard work that I did in 2024. I want to make sure my customers are happy. I have about a 2% churn rate, which is incredibly low. And I want to continue that into 2025. So I don't want to lose them because remember, this is a subscription service. So if they're not paying me monthly, then they're paying me quarterly or they're paying me annually. So if I can keep up their relationship with me, then I already have that revenue coming into my business moving into this new year, keeping my customers happy. So how am I going to do this? Well, I prioritize once a week. I think I blocked off about an hour just to check up on my current customers. So I'm going to make my way through my list. If I've already called them recently, then I won't really worry about it, but just giving them a buzz. Now, I automatically every single month have an automation phone call. I utilize this tool called Go High Level. And so in that, you can create a workflow or a phone call will automatically go to their voicemail and be like, hey, this is Amanda with Let's Stay Local. Just let me know. I wanted to check in on you, make sure everything was going well. Let me know if there's anything I can do to help you today. So I have that automated phone call go out and people don't really realize that it's automated, but there it is. But this is an actual phone call that I will pick up the phone and call about 4 to 5 customers a week and just let them know maybe an update happened or, making sure that they're happy, they don't have any problems. And if they do, it gives me an opportunity to pop in there and fix it and solve it because many times local business owners are just too busy even to tell you. So instead, they just keep getting poked by this annoyance, right? So calling them and letting them know that you're there, you're that local business also, and you care about them, it just strengthens that relationship even further, and you're going to keep your customers longer. So that's my number one priority. That's my first big rock. My second big rock, I call features. And if you're familiar with my prospecting process, features for me is to go and feature locally owned businesses here and around my area. And I, go in and usually it's food because I'm Let's Stay Local. I go in and I eat and I do a review of their restaurant. Okay. This is my prospecting tool. So I call them features. And if I'm not out there doing features, then I don't have a follow-up pitch and I'm not growing my business. So arguably you might want to swap these, but really keeping my current customers is the cheapest way to go. We preach this to the people we're pitching to. Keeping them is much cheaper than going out and prospecting. So that's why customers come first. And then prospecting is number 2. That's the most important thing. And you'll notice on my calendar that I have 2 days for prospecting because this really is the most important task that I could do. And so during these blocked off times, I'm simply reaching out to local businesses and asking, can I stop in and feature their local business in a reel, right? So then I can give them that free publicity and it's incredibly powerful. So if you want to learn how to do that, I've got lots of resources around here and I teach that in a class that you can actually get for free. So be sure to click some links to figure out how. Okay, so that's number 2. The third one is this. And this is new for me this year, prioritizing my YouTube channel and prioritizing my Grow My Agency tools, right? So remember, I have this consistent steps now to grow my agency. So this is to add to it. I want to spend a little bit more time here sharing my processes, sharing my successes, sharing my struggles, and being a little bit more transparent and being more consistent going into 2025. 2024, I was a little sketchy and bouncing here and there on my consistency for my YouTube channel. So I'm aspiring to continue to do this. And then number 4 is my newest one for my big rocks. And that's because I know how powerful it can be. And that's to network in my community. So I will be joining, I've set myself a goal of 3 networking groups, small business groups and communities here in my city and area. So these would be things like Chamber of Commerce, local business owners, different BMI kind of groups. Okay. But when you're doing that, when you're going through those meetings consistently, you're meeting people that are encouraged to share about your business. And then you're encouraged to go out and actually tell other people about them as well. So it's a give and take business to business relationship. And what a great way. There's no better way to score a new lead or sale than for having somebody refer you. And so I want to do that and take advantage of that. I know how powerful that can be. And so I do hope to document that process with you and share a little bit about that in some upcoming videos as well. So those are the 4 things that I'm going to be prioritizing. So let's see, how am I scheduling my week every single month so that it reflects my big rocks? Okay, so this is a picture of an upcoming week, right? I'm actually projecting this out a little further so less of my personal information is on here. But this is where I'm blocking off the times where I'm going to complete the tasks needed so I can focus on those 4 big rock items in my day and my life. So I use a little bit of color coding in my calendar, and I share my calendar relatively frequently, and people ask, what are all those colors for? I'm sure that means something. So I want to share a little bit about that. How do I schedule my time? And how do I use the little color code system in order to do that? First thing on my agenda, I'm going to try to get done working by 11 a.m. every day. Family, I'm very transparent about this. Family is priority number 1 in my life. And so if I can get done by 11 o'clock, that means I can still be a mom. I can still take care of the house. I can still shuffle kids around. And it just means I got to get up and move in a bit early in order to do that. So you'll notice very early in the morning, I'm up and I'm doing the things that are first number 1 priority on my personal life. So personal life stuff is right now, these are goals of mine. They're in purple. And these are things that I don't start my day until I do these two things. So these are very important for me. So obviously my goal is to get up, wake up, get out, get started by about 5:30 in the morning, 6 at the very latest, but get myself going. And so I've set that goal for myself. I started this toward the end of last year, and I've really benefited from this approach. Second priority number one, after I get up, of course, is to sit down and read. I read for about 45 minutes to an hour. You may read personal growth things. I sit and read the Bible. It's really up to you on how you want to handle that time. But this is a personal development hour for me. And that's priority number one, because for me, my faith, that is just the most important thing in my life. So that's why I prioritize that. So you might want to handle that slightly differently, but that's how I handle that. Then it goes into, all right, now I'm ready for my day. It's time to start work, right? So you can see here in red, the reason I use red is these are scheduled important tasks. Amanda, if you see it in red, warning, 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 don't schedule something over this. This is very important. Try to schedule around these appointments. So if it's in red, that is how I handle that situation when I'm scheduling a onboarding meeting or anything like that. I really try to be a stickler about reserving my morning for moving my business forward and the tasks needed in order to do so. So I don't need to, for example, schedule on social media every single day. If I could get that done in one day for the upcoming week, then I can just wipe my hands of it, right? It won't get bogged down with the creative aspects of that. So as I'm out featuring restaurants, I just let them know, hey, on Mondays is when I sit down and edit videos. You'll be seeing it the week after, this coming Monday. So just be on the look of that, right? And so that sets that expectation for them. I am coming across as very organized as well. So it doesn't do anything bad for me, but this is my moment to sit down and edit those videos, get those recordings done, and then schedule them out. And it is time consuming, especially if I'm featuring 2 or more restaurants a week, which is kind of the goal here. So that is my Monday, right? And as you'll notice, I try to keep everything else pretty much open so that I can onboard it after 11 a.m., right? So I can do that. Now there is some flexibility up here. If a restaurant can only onboard or only do a pitch meeting in the morning time, of course, I'm going to move some stuff around. But as an overall goal, I'd really try to get done with work by 11. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, this is my prospecting days. I get 2 days because that's the only way I'm going to make business, right? So I've got to prospect. And by prospect, I'm going to be very careful in identifying this. I'm talking about prospecting in proven ways that gets me sales. So I'm going and I'm prospecting for myself personally. I'm scheduling those features. Can I feature your small business on my social media platform? If I can get those, I've only received 1 no for a pitch meeting in 4 years since doing this process. So I get the pitch. Okay. So I need to prioritize going in and featuring those small businesses. And so I scheduled 2 days in order for me to reach out to them, make those phone calls. Can I come by? Doing those and scheduling those features. On Wednesdays, I do have 2 social media pages. One is all about features. It's geared toward just community members in general that love food. Follow me here, right? But then I also have a business social media page for local business owners and talking all about the loyalty program and talking all about Let's Dine Local as a business, right? Selling the BoomerangMe platform. And so I scheduled 1 day a week just to come up with content, schedule that out. And so that's what I'm doing there. And then Wednesdays are also my customer check-in day. So I utilize this hour to do priority number 1, which is check up on my customers, make sure they're very, very happy. Again, Thursday, we already talked about this, the importance of prospecting. And then on Fridays, I'm going to prioritize creating video content similar to this that will be helpful for other agency owners, not only to grow your agency in general, but also to grow your agency if you're utilizing the BoomerangMe platform. What stuff is actually working? What problems am I running into? No technology is without some sort of a bug, right? That needs to get worked out. So what problems and what successes am I having? Sharing and being transparent about that is going to be prioritized for me on Fridays. And that is how I utilize this. If you see stuff in blue, it's super flexible time, right? If it's in red, it's a little more important for me. And then in blue for me, you'll see this constantly. If I have to be somewhere else, not in my office in order to do the task, I'm 30 minutes away from everywhere. So there always has to be a block of time extended so that I can actually travel to get somewhere, because that's the small town life I live. I hope that was helpful for you, but this is why I'm excited to move into 2025. I know what consistently works. I'm just going to repeat that. And then I'm going to add a little something extra in there to enhance and grow off of what I know works. So that is how I'm moving into 2025. I hope that you join me. I hope that you join in my success, and your agency grows this year as well. If you want to follow along, repeat these exact same steps with me. I teach all of my processes, day-to-day tasks, checklists, everything that I use, all tools in order to get those tasks accomplished in my Grow Your Agency with BoomerangMe course. And there's lots of links everywhere for you to be able to find that. I do offer that course free. So figure out and click on those links to see how you can join those courses for free as well. So I hope you have a blessed year, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.